Hey everyone, welcome back to part three. We are speaking to Mr. Kapil Kaul, the National President of the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Kapil, welcome again.
Thank you.
Um,
Nice to
I,
be here again.
yeah, it's been great having you. Thanks for dropping by. Now, I just want to recap what we spoke about in part one as well as in part two. Part one, you told us a little bit more about where you came from, how you actually got into the chamber industry as the national president. And also about the relationship between India and United States and the part played by the IACC in supporting the needs of your members. We also spoke about COVID-19, what actually transpired, what happened in India, and the devastation that was caused globally, and how you actually have strategic steps in place to assist your members moving forward. We also spoke about the manpower uh, coming from India, the skilled manpower coming from India, and to what extent this actually benefits India's economy as well. We spoke about the restrictions that are currently in place due to COVID and how the companies in India are leveraging on the new prospects that are coming out with regard to this. And we spoke about some of the events that you have in place to assist your members. Now, I'd like to use part three now to focus directly on the chamber itself. Um, you know, could you give us some real world examples? Because we do understand that, be it COVID or be it any other issues that are being faced by your members, they would have certain difficulties, maybe for the micro, small, medium enterprises, to digitally transform their businesses. What are the problems that your members have currently? What do they come to you with?
Right. The problems are actually on different levels. One would be local issues. The chamber has its own ecosystem, its membership network. So if you are having problems on a local level, then you have some members who have got good connections and interfacing with people who can help you in issues that you're facing at a local level. Second is that on a government policy level, when you want, where you feel the policy is not correct and it needs to be altered or it needs to be tailored so that the business can be better off and the government hasn't got it right. For example, in drone policy, we explained the government had completely banned drones in India. And however, when they understood that where they were going wrong, they altered the entire drone policy. And today, India is aiming to become the drone manufacturing capital in the world. The third is that we always have recognized that America is an important trading partner with India, which has been grossly underutilized in the past many decades because of our differences. And I say that, and this is what I've been saying to the American establishment and the people I meet from there. And I'll be saying the same thing when I'm leading a delegation to United States of 50 people on the 30th of this month, going on till 8th. So we are going to Miami-Dade. We are going to New York, New Jersey, and Atlanta. So now this is one aspect which I'm doing is that as a chamber to do trade, and you know that now this year, America and India America has become India's largest trading partner, surpassing even China. So the focus that I'm having in the chamber to help the chamber members here is something which I did for German cars in Calcutta. That if you set up shop in a city, then the possibility of your products to be sold is much more than if you don't set up shop.
Yeah.
So in the same way, in the US, I have told these people, so they're coming there to test the waters and to try and set up an office or a store of your products so that people can get that environment of sense and feel and experience the product. And you as a business person can understand what does it mean to operate in America. And it's a known fact that if you can get your business running much faster in the United States than you can in India itself only. And once you understood the ecosystem, then you learn business out there, you develop products out there, and then bring those businesses or those products back to India, and you relocate out here as well. And you would know that it's all well known that around 40% of the motels or maybe 60% of the motels in the United States are managed and owned by Indians.
Right.
So, yeah. So, therefore, as a chamber, we are trying to help the chamber members to grow their business with the United States and invest there as well, and then bring in the advantages of that back into India. So, from a Indo-US perspective, this is what it is. And the Americans also, you have a lot of MSME businesses who don't have the ability to function in India. We are trying to get them to understand what India is about and to bring their products into India and their businesses into India. So that's on the Indo-American perspective.
Right. Now, looking at the entire chamber scene and putting everything into perspective, if you were given an opportunity to be a catalyst of change, one change, what would that be?
To turn consumerism on its head and to bring in just-in-time production and consumption technology.
Amazing. Please elaborate on that, please.
Well, going back on the tomato and tomato ketchup story,
yeah.
There is, people say that technology kills employment. That's a fear. Like we had in the banking system in India, when they were bringing in computerization to banks, there was a fear that all the clerks and the officers in the bank will get replaced by computers. But it's just the reverse. The amount of people now being employed by the banking system is much more. Why? Right? The reason now with this consumerism, there's one more thing which I want to bring in. And that agent of change will happen. I don't know when, and which is eliminating crude oil from transportation systems. Okay. And bringing in drones into the business. All right. So this is something which is radical, and which is that you have if I wear a shirt and I buy a shirt, which is say costing me, instead of $50, it's costing me $200. Okay, because of environmental reasons. Right. Now, I buy into a manufacturing or consumer system where I dry clean the shirt at a store owned by the company that's sold me the shirt. I darn the shirt at a facility that is owned by the company that's manufactured the shirt. And instead of the shirt lasting me 1 year or 2 years, it lasts me 10 years, 15 years. Okay. Now, would you say it's possible? Well, I'm a living example to it. Okay, it's possible. So what I'm trying to say is that we know that consumerism is there because of employment, because of profits, because of prosperity, government revenues. Yeah, fine. But if you turn it on its head, and instead of using and buying 10 shirts, you buy only one shirt, it does not mean that the economy is going to go down the tube. No, you reinvent yourselves. Because ultimately, please understand, what has the pandemic done? It's a fact of life that by the shutdown, at least 5 years of government revenue globally have got wiped out.
Right.
Okay. Now, where will you load that loss onto? Onto all the products and the economic system of the past. Right? So would you like another disaster to take place all over again and you have the shirt off your back? No. So reinvention of our consumption pattern and our entire, in fact, along with that, to me, shopping malls should become experiential centers, not sales centers. Okay?
That's true. That's
and
true.
You make it an experiential center, but the products you don't buy there, you buy online, so you don't waste your time and energy and money and everything going there for a simple object of buying a product. You experience it, but you buy it elsewhere. Right? So don't waste your time and energy doing these things. So you need to reinvent. You need to reinvent. And drones, one more thing about drones is, in your body, you have arteries, veins, and capillaries.
Right.
And red blood corpuscles flow through it. What do? They carry nutrients, they carry oxygen into your system, right? And when they come out, they flush all the toxins out of your system, right? Now, in the same way, an economy anywhere in the world functions on highways, roads, lanes, and alleys. And instead of red blood corpuscles, you have what I call vehicle corpuscles, whether light commercial vehicles, heavy commercial vehicles, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, carrying people, carrying goods, right? And it drives the economy, it drives the system, right? Now, when it does that, instead of a red blood corpuscle, it pollutes the system. Red blood corpuscles flush the system out of toxins. These pollute the system. If you replace them with drones, all right, then they become like red blood corpuscles. Okay. Second, just like e-commerce, or rather your electronic finance. I mean, you have now the banking system that's electronic, that's digital, right? So the flow of money is so fast now that trillions of dollars can move in a trice. Okay. But in a conventional economy, you have to physically write a check, which should land up after 3 weeks.
Exactly.
So we all know that how prosperity has gone forward with the finances moving so fast between one account and the other.
Right.
All right. So these are the changes that I want to happen in terms of consumerism and in terms of logistics.
Amazing. To really hear it from you, and to, you know, when you talk about experience, I'm experiencing the passion that you have right now.
Thank you.
With you at the helm of the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, I do not see any reason why anyone would want to forego this membership. Because with your knowledge, with your experience, and with your resilience, having emerged stronger after COVID-19 and wanting to do more for your members, I really, really think this is a membership that everyone should look at. This is something that everyone should look at. For companies to reach out to you to secure a membership in IACC, I do understand it's a comprehensive procedure. Is it very difficult to get a membership?
No, not at all. Very easy. And in fact, I must tell you it's a personal experience. I will not elaborate too much on it, but in the COVID time, I had a duty which meant that I had to go to someone's ICU to look after that person on an hourly basis every day for a couple of hours. And it was in Bombay.
Right.
Okay. And I am a heart patient. I was then 63. All right. I'm a diabetic. I am having about 20 medications in a day. And I was asked by my friends and well-wishers that, Kapil, aren't you risking things? So I said, it's my duty to do something which has come my way at this point of time, right? If I were a soldier and I was not feeling well, but I was on the front, would I go to bed and go to sleep, or would I pick up the gun and go and fight? Okay. So it's come my way. I need to do it. Nothing's going to happen. You believe in yourself. You believe in your destiny. You do your part, and you will move forward in a positive way. In the same way, when I took over the presidency, we still had a lot of processes, procedures. I said, I am not doing webinars. I am going physically to all the places and demonstrating as a leader that you got to move forward. You got to move ahead in life, right? Time doesn't stand still. Things will move up. Of course, you take your precautions. You wear your mask when there are too many people. You use a sanitizer. Fine, no problem. But that doesn't mean you don't stop me. No, you please meet people. Go to meetings. So I attended over 20 physical meetings and 18 different cities and towns I did visit. And as a result of which, I've got 330 new members.
Wow.
Right? And we've run a profit from all our activities in my year as the president.
Amazing.
All right?
Amazing.
And including our webinars, we've had 168 meetings across the last 12 months.
Wow.
So you see, it's always leadership that matters, and what energy. That's another thing I want to tell you right now. Everything is about energy, nothing else. You have positive energy and you have energy. That's what all it takes. If you keep that energy level high by your own inner spirit, by your own willpower, by your own diet, your exercise, all right? Okay, I'll give you an example. Why is it that the earlier planes like Dakotas and Fokker Friendships would fly at lower levels and you had a very bumpy flight? Okay? But today, the planes fly at 40,000 feet and you have a very smooth flight. Why? Because you're moving in a positive zone. All right. Yep. So if you keep your mindset positive and you fly in that positive zone, then anything that comes across with you, and this is another philosophy, an obstacle is not an obstacle. No, it's an exercise. You see, when you want to convert your muscle, you want to convert your fat into muscle, what do? You exercise. So when you exercise, what happens? Your body pains. It pains like hell.
Yep.
But subsequently, when the fat converts to muscle, you become strong. You can take on a lot more, right? Mentally, when you read a lot, you start feeling drowsy because your head is heavy. But later on, you can take on a lot of problems with the ability. I'll give you an example. You take Muhammad Ali, the champion boxer. Okay? His daily regime was something like running 25 kilometers,
yep,
exercising for hours, pulling up weights, etc. Okay? But when he went into the ring, that 1 minute of his was less than a minute, but for someone else, it was like an hour. All right? That's the kind of energy he had. So I think positive energy, positive disposition, and when you have a boulder, it's like you want to see the best view in the world. You can go to a peak on the mountain, but to reach the peak on the mountain, you got to climb up that mountain, right? So in the same way, the pandemic was like a boulder. It's like a hill. You overcome the hill. That's how I look at it.
Wonderful. You know, it was devastating, but some few people saw opportunities, you know, and came out,
Yeah.
emerged stronger, started to grow, reinvented everything that we were doing. Things that were happening 2 years ago just don't make sense anymore. So we have to reinvent everything. Best practices out the window, in come new ones. A lot of change. A lot of change has happened over the last 2 to 3 years. Now,
Correct.
Mr. Cole, we have reached the end of this interview. This is a three-part interview, and I would like to ask you, do you have any final words that you want to share with the global business community? Anything at all?
Yep. The final word is the last element of my formula of E3, 3C, and 1W.
Yep.
And which is that cut out waste from all aspects of your lives, no matter what it is, whether it's time, whether it is traveling, whether it's energy, whether it's water, food, plastic waste, get rid of plastic waste. It's the scourge, right? So that's one driving thing. And the other thing, which is a fact of life, which I wanted to tell you, is that how I came up with the logo of E3 is that in our Hindu spirituality and philosophy, we have what's called the three netra. And the three netra is the third eye. All right. So E3 or 3 is the third eye. So the third eye, when it opens inside, your vision is much more broadened. You become enlightened, right? And when the third eye opens outwards, it leads to destruction. All right. So it's almost like if you are acquisitive, you're greedy, and you're looking out at others and saying, I want that person, I want that product, I want this, I want that. Greed, not need, greed. So the third eye is like greed. You're looking out at others, other things, other people, right? But you're looking inside. So one is creation and the other is destruction. Now, the fact of life is that creation and destruction go hand in hand. You know about slash and burn agriculture,
Yep.
right? You slash all the vegetation, burn it, and that becomes fodder and that becomes manure, and then you grow food. Yeah, you grow grains. So in that slash and burn way, destruction and birth, rebirth go hand in hand. It's a fact of life. That's what it's about. Okay. And lastly, I'd like to say very clearly that I have seen death. I know what death is like, right? It's not death. It's just going into a different dimension. You come from one dimension, you go to another dimension.
Yep.
That's all. They are dimensional realities, nothing more than that.
I believe you. I believe you. I've read rather extensively on this, and this is something that I have to say personally. This is exactly how I feel as well. You know,
Yeah.
Mr. Cole, it's been a pleasure having you, and thank you so much for spending some time with us, and explaining to all our viewers as well what is happening in India, the relationship between US and India, and the way forward. Not just the way forward, but the right way forward, because there's a lot of avenues that we can take. But yeah, I do agree with you with regard to the third eye as well. When you look inside, this is where you make the changes within yourself. You know, you see yourself what needs to be changed, and you improve rather than just looking outside.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. And I just want to thank you so much. I believe our viewers will want to thank you as well. What I will do is I will create links in the comment section below our videos, where our viewers will be able to reach out to you should they want to take up a membership, should they want more information
Sure.
on the membership, or if they just want to send you a greeting message, because what you have imparted to us, it's invaluable. This is something that we will carry with us for long term.
Yeah, Francis, one word I'd like to have out here,
Yeah.
which is the benefit of the pandemic.
Right.
you and me and your colleagues
Right.
are sitting across this laptop
That's
and
right.
exchanging these views and enhancing our lives and becoming better, right? It's because of the pandemic that we are doing this.
Exactly.
Right. So we're bringing technology into play. And believe you me, one more thing, that you got quantum computing now. So quantum computing solves the problem. And it takes only about 20 minutes, what conventional computers would take 400 years.
Right.
So developments are going to be extremely fast, extremely rapid. So we should be mentally attuned to changes happening very, very fast. And I'm very happy that because of the pandemic, you, me, and Sheila and Trimaditya are today conversing across this laptop, which you wouldn't have been doing it had it not been for the pandemic.
Yeah, across continents. You're in India, I'm in Singapore, she's in Indonesia, and yet we are all talking in real time and exchanging ideas. I think this is amazing and really good. Once again, Mr. Kaul, thank you so much for your kind attendance for this talk, and I really appreciate it. We will definitely keep in touch with you moving forward. Yeah, we will keep in touch with you, and I would love to see you within the next 2 to 3 months. When we set up more interviews, I would love to have another chat with you.
Sure. Anytime.
All right.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful, and it's been a very productive 3 sessions. Thank you to all of you. Have a nice evening now for you all.
That was Mr. Kapil Kaul, the immediate past president of the IACC. Providing their members with a platform for interaction with government representatives, the IACC has leveraged the capabilities of both governments to enhance business relations. If you want more information about the IACC or to sign up for a membership, click on the link below. And as always, hit the subscribe button to come with me as I venture further into the incredible world of business chambers. I'll see you soon on The Chamber Guy.